All right. Good morning again. Thank you for joining us. We're going to continue to roll with our pre-availabilities here for this weekend. We are now joined by Big Machine Racing. Scott Borchetta and Parker Kligerman has joined us as well, and they're here to make a team announcement, and I will turn it over to Scott for official introductions.
Great. Thank you, and good morning. Big day for Big Machine Racing and our Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers and everything Big Machine today, because we're adding a new Big Machine to the family, and I'm so proud to officially announce that Parker Kligerman will be our full-time driver in our Xfinity car for 2023.
Thank you very much. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
You can applaud. That's really pretty dang cool.
Yeah. I've spent enough time in these media centers with all of you. So
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you very much.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Yes.
Oh, man. Thank you, Scott. Thank you so much. This is so awesome. I felt like the coolest part about this was getting the call. So I win Mid-Ohio in the Truck Series earlier this year, and I go through Victory Lane, all this stuff. I finally get my phone back, and there's a voicemail. And it's Keith Barnwell, who's the GM here at Big Machine Racing. And I listened to it, and he's like, hey, this is the call you'd like to get after winning. I know you're in Victory Lane, but would you like to race Talladega? And I was like, yeah, winning works. Awesome. So we got to go race Talladega. That went awesome. And, you and I talked, and it was like, hey, what's the future here? What are you guys looking to do? And, it sounded like this is a place that obviously has great aspirations. You've, set up the right foundation in so many respects. And it was so awesome when you were like, hey, let's go. What if we went and ran for a championship? And I was like, that sounds like a great idea. So I think we've got everything to do it.
Yeah, I really do. Our affiliation with RCR this year and everything that Richard has provided for Patrick Donahue and the team, we've proven that we can run up front, getting that first win with Tyler Reddick in Texas. And, I've always been a fan of Parker, and I think he's coming to us at the perfect time with your talent and your experience and you're great inside the car and outside the car. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun, too. We're going to make a lot of noise about this series. We're going to make a lot of noise about our products, and we're excited to get going. I wish you were in the car today, but...
I know. Well, I got that other job a little bit right now. But, you mentioned fun. I mean,
no offense against Nick at all. Nick's doing
he's doing an awesome job. We are sponsored by vodka and spiked Coors. And I don't know about you guys who know me, but that is like two things that go right into my brand and right aligned with me. I was talking to all my friends yesterday who I told for the first time. They're like, I don't think there's a better sponsor we could have picked for you in the world than vodka and spiked Coors. So... I'm very pumped with that. That's going to be so much fun. And I think that's a key you and I have had since we first started talking, which was we want to be successful. We want to go win. We intend to do that, but we want to have fun along the way. And
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be the key.
And so we're going to change it to drive, then drink. So don't drink and drive, but drive, then drink for sure.
Unwind, yes.
And also, too, I want to point out that we do have our Borchetta bourbon here, and that is our livery for this weekend with Nick Sanchez. And this is something that we did around our Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. It's cask strength, and each year we're going to have a different bottle cap. And I'm on the board of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum, and so we did an arrangement with them. So our first year has the Marmon Wasp, and I know I'm talking IndyCar and NASCAR, but I just talk racing because I love all of it. But I did want to point out that we do have these products here, and we're here to race and to spread the good word.
Love it. Love it.
Questions?
All right. We're going to take questions here. We'll start with Lee. We'll go to Jordan, Jeff, and Dustin.
Scott, how important was it to make this move as far as concentrating on just one driver and run for the championship rather than have a musical chairs situation, so to speak?
Sure. The mission was never to be a revolving door. And, Jade Buford, who started the season for us, is a great race car driver. And the chemistry wasn't right. And, so at that point, it's like I really wanted to see what the team could do. Do we have the equipment that I think we have? Do we have the team that I think we have? And all of you know this. If the chemistry isn't right, you're not going to get the results. And, immediately we put Tyler Reddick in the car. He almost wins Darlington, and he wins Texas the next week. But the mission has always been to be with one driver and build a race team.
Okay, Jordan, go ahead.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. This is a little bit follow-up for Scott. What does Parker bring to the team that maybe you didn't have before with other drivers?
Parker brings experience and a huge desire to do this. And that was, our first conversation of, hey, do you still have the fire to go and run for a championship? Or have you become more a part-time? It's just things that I had to know. And he convinced me very quickly. It's like, no, I want to go race hard. I want to win. And our conversations were exactly what I was looking for. And then also what he brings to us outside the car, with his awareness with the industry and with the fans. I get to hire a star. And that's what Big Machine has always been all about, whether it's our artists that we sign or the product. So now we've got a star in the car.
And a follow-up question: he's a car guy, multifaceted, loves
Better
different
be.
aspects.
Yeah.
You yourself, sports cars, Trans Am, and you like it all too. You guys bond over that? There's been like a quick connection there.
Immediately.
Definitely. Yeah, when I found out, your involvement with IMS and that we share the love of that place and the importance that place holds in the racing world and just how much you love all motorsports. That's my thing, is I love all motorsports. So I think we definitely have bonded on that, and I've loved your car collection and some of the historic race cars you have is so cool. So I haven't been able to go see them in person yet, but I'm very excited about that. So that's definitely something I feel like right off the bat when we learned that, it was like, oh wow, we have that same passion for this sport in so many facets. And like the Borchetta bourbon, on the car there is the image of the 1911 Nashville race, which was the second, or the race after the 1911 Indy 500. So like that's the history that you told me, and I was consumed by that. So cool. So I think in that sense, we're definitely aligned.
All right, Jeff.
Jeff Gluck from The Athletic. Parker, you've wanted an opportunity like this for so long and been trying so hard for such a long time without knowing that it would come. Now that it's here, what are the emotions for you having this secured?
I called Keith after we got the contract signed. The next day I called him and I said, hey, I just want to check. I didn't dream that, did I? And he said, no, it's actually signed. We have it. I was like, that's real. Okay, that's cool. That sounds great. So,
and Scott signed it too.
Yeah,
right?
Scott signed it too, right? That's real signature, right? This is all happening. This isn't a dream. I think it's been such a interesting, 8 years of doing part-time and TV and jumping around to different rides and trying to find a home and a place to set up a situation where I felt like it was a place, one, that had the intention to go win, that had, that accepted what I like to do outside the car, which is, sort of promote the sport in a lot of ways, and, could set me up for potentially a future in terms of growing with that organization. And, it's just I've been close at times, as you know, but this happened so fluidly, so seamlessly. It felt like, we mentioned that, when we did Talladega, it just was so seamless. And then initially, in a short span from talking to signing, it was quick, right? Because we all were aligned in the same goals, same thought process. And I just think, for me in my career right now, I've told everyone that will listen, the last 2 years, I've never driven better in my life than the last 2 years. And a lot of that comes from, just 2 years ago, I was pretty convinced that maybe my driving was over. I had lost the cup ride, the truck team was shutting down, it was sort of a bleak time. And I was sort of having that realization, and I got to come back, and I remember thinking, all right, you know what? You can lose this so quickly. There's, enjoy this, but, accept it for, try and just get everything you possibly can out of it. And from that moment, it feels like it just unlocked something inside of me to go out there and find, another level in driving that I don't even know if I knew I had. And I felt like from that point, I've told a lot of people, I'm driving so well, it feels like a terrible thing to waste not driving, right? And so it's an amazing moment to have this opportunity. I think it's so many things that we align on, so many cool parts of this. And I do have to say, I just want to thank, the Hendersons, Food Country USA, that group who have given me the opportunity the last 5 years to go out there and prove what I could do in a race car, winning. My family who's supporting, my girlfriend, Shannon Ward, who literally would tell me, and every time, like, I don't know if we should continue doing this, she's like, just keep going. Just keep going. All my friends, so many people, the Cunninghams have, really pushed me at times when I felt like this journey was getting to be a mountain too tough to climb. And I'm glad we pushed through because I've gotten to meet someone as awesome as Scott and to be aligned with a race team like this. And I think right now my thought is, like, can it be 2023? Right now, I don't know if I've ever had a deal this early, to be honest. This might be the earliest in my entire career. So I don't even know how to do this last 2 races of this season knowing I can actually go race next season. Thank you.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I've always thought that when you can be an analyst and observe what other drivers are doing and having to explain it, I think that's made your driving better because you've been able to learn from what everybody else is doing out there on the track and then have to explain it. And have you felt that?
100%. People have asked that. It's a great question, and I think you should be in the TV side now. I think you have a career there if you want it. So you mentioned stars. Hey, we have another one. I think it's been really fascinating because what I tell people about TV all the time is that unlike when you're a driver, and one of the things it did for me is when you're a driver or you're in a team, whatever, you're focused solely on your deal, your team, your performance, and that's it. It's very singular. It's very much pinpointed. When you go to the broadcast side, you have to expand your scope in your horizon. You have to study everyone, as you all know in the media. You have to cover and pay attention to everything happening, and it really, I think, opens up your perspective of what's happening and what's important and what actually, matters and how the races play out, strategy, all those things I think play. And so there's no doubt that that has been huge for me on the driving side because it's allowed me to sort of understand the bigger picture. And I think that's been a really big thing, even just down to understanding the strategy of the races, to how they play out, to where the, how things align late in races, that sort of stuff. It's just definitely, no doubt in my mind, made me better.
All right, we're going to go to the press box really fast, then we're going to come back down. We're going to get to as many as we can, but we do have Chase Briscoe coming up at 11. So do the best you can to keep them short. Okay, press box, go ahead. Chris, you there? All right, we'll swing back up to the press box. We're going to come back down to Dustin.
Dustin Lupino, JC.com. Parker, kind of off Jeff's question, but next year will be a decade since you were full time with KBM in Xfinity. Did you think an opportunity would come around like this again?
Never give up. I got a cool video we got to post right now, but about that whole journey. But I think really, I think it's cliche to say, but it's really true, right? When you believe in something and you can do it, and you're not sure how it's going to work out or have a vision for building a company like Big Machine or, being a driver. I think you just have to kind of have that blind faith at times that things will work out. And I say that there's no doubt that I had doubts, right? I had periods of where I thought like maybe I was supposed to make the decision for myself or it was going to be made for me, right? And I think you have to, that's only human to have those doubts and those moments. But as I said before, I'm just glad I plowed through. I'm glad I listened to the people in my life that were telling me to not stop, right? And I know that's crazy over a decade to do that. But, I did the TV thing, which I've been doing, so grateful to them as well. I should thank NBC Sports for being so, open to me driving and chasing these opportunities when I had it, and Jeff Banke and Sam Flood have been so supportive. Everyone in the production team, everyone at NBC has been absolutely amazing through this whole time. All the talent that have pushed for me. Steve Lichardo, who maybe put in some good words, Dale Jr. at times. But I think, I just think it's one of those things where you just keep pushing because you're in the sport, you're involved in it week to week to week, and you're thinking, okay, well, the one thing I'd want to be doing is driving. So if I'm here, I've got to be the closest I am to driving than not being here, right? And I think that's what I've tried to do, and somehow it's finally worked out. Thank you.
All right, we're going to go back to the press box and then back down, and we'll go to Seth after that. Go ahead, Chris. All right, Chris, one more time. Go ahead and text me your question. We'll go to Seth, and then we'll go to Bruce. Go ahead, Seth.
Seth Egger, Kicking Tires. Parker, you mentioned the Henderson family and Henderson Motorsports. Is there any chance you're still going to run part-time for the Hendersons next year or help them find a new driver if you're not?
We intend to. Scott and everyone's been very open from here at Big Machine Racing to allow me to do that. So thank you very much. And we intend to continue to do our part-time schedule, as many races as we possibly can. I think you'll see hopefully the Hendersons run the 10 to 12 races that we've run in the past. And for me personally, I'm really happy about that. One, because obviously what they mean to me and that family and that race team and food country, but also because I think it's just going to make me better, right? Having that many more races to run and to be able to get on tracks ahead of our Xfinity car and that sort of thing. So I'm really pumped about that. And yes, we intend to continue.
All right, we're going to come up to Bruce, Greg, Kelly, and Bob.
Speaking of TV, how does this impact your TV schedule, your TV career?
So we, they've been very supportive, and I think in the coming, hopefully, weeks and months, we'll sort of have, what that will look like in the future. But I think all intentions are for me to continue to be doing things with NBC, and especially on Sundays. So I think I will just be, once again, one of the busiest mans in motorsports. As Dario Franchitti said to me a couple months ago, he was like, I thought I had a lot of jobs. You have a lot of jobs. I think I'll just hope we continue
won the
that.
Indy 500 with Dario
Yeah,
in
there you go.
2012.
Craig Engel with Forbes. Congrats on this. This is really, really huge. One of the things when you're trying to find rides and you're trying to, get in here is you having to work the sponsors. And, for so many years, I'm always getting these pitches, we were giving away hoodies and all this other stuff. That's a lot of work. So now you're kind of freed up, right? I mean, you still have those regular sponsor obligations, but you're able to step back and maybe not have to work as hard at trying to pick up sponsors as you did before. That's gotta be kind of a liberating sort of feeling.
Well, definitely. And I mean, being aligned with partners like Big Machine Vodka and Spike Coors, and just these are, this is going to be so much fun. I think there's just so many things. And I think that part of my brain doesn't turn off, because now it's how can we, get Spike Coors in more hands and more mouths, and, get people
And
partying.
more racetracks.
Yeah, more racetracks. So I lean on you. I think it is something that's why you're doing this, right? Is to promote these brands and to put the, get Spike Coors in more places. So that part for me never stops, right? I want to continue to grow that and, help these partners be, use racing to the best ability possible. So I think it's a wonderful sport. There's a lot of reasons for partners to be a part of it. And, the best way to prove that is to have the ones that we have be successful using it. So I intend to continue that.
And Parker, if you notice, he has the right number on his hat.
He
too.
does. Look at that. Love that.
All right, we're going to come up front to Kelly, please.
KellyCrandallRacer.com. Parker, how much lighter do your shoulders feel now?
What?
Well, I mean, because as Jeff was saying, you talk about the emotions and you've been working and wanting something like this. I mean, this is like a second chance, right? When you signed that contract, I mean, how much just lighter did you feel?
I don't know if it's lighter. I don't know if there's relief in there. I think
there's more pressure.
Yeah, I think it's right time to go. I'll say I put probably the most pressure on myself of anyone, and I know you get that a lot, but it's really true. And I just think it was more like right now I feel like I've just been buzzing with excitement. Like, to a level I don't know if I've ever had, where it's just like I want to get going. I want to start the season. I want to dive into doing similar work with Patrick Donahue and really crafting what our season looks like and start putting up results. So I think it's not like a relief in a respect, but as much as it feels like a chance that's sort of out in the distance that I want to go grab, right? And an opportunity. And so I just think it's one of those things where I'm, doubling down and committing in a huge way. I'm getting a place down in North Carolina so I can be closer to the race shop. My girlfriend won't be coming down because she works a full-time job as well. So we'll be spending much time apart, which many of you already know that happens already. So she's usually traveling around with the Olympics. So, but that's part of my commitment, right? To doing this and doing this at a high level and making sure that we're successful.
All right, we're going to give the press box one final try. Go ahead.
ChrisKnight@Catchwith.com. Hey, Parker, I was just wondering what you were looking forward to working with Patrick Donahue and how experienced he is as a crew chief and a team manager, and what you guys are capable of doing next season.
100%. Patrick and I have worked together, obviously, at Talladega. I knew him from doing some of the TV work, obviously, and going in his hauler and asking him how things were going those weeks and that sort of stuff. So we've already had a little bit of a relationship, but he, as you mentioned, he has a tremendous amount of experience. He's done a great job building this organization, putting the right people in place, and, really sort of taking one step at a time, the right direction, and moving it forward, right? And that's what I look for in young organizations always, is it sort of a linear path of getting better. And I think Patrick has, been instrumental in making that happen, and I hope to sort of aid in that and use his experience, my experience, to continue that growth and that progress, because that's what you have to do in this day and age, right? Is with an organization like this, it's younger, you've just got to find the ways to continually improve and get better, because that's where you'll find yourself with the success you want results wise. So people's the biggest part of that, as we know in this sport. People are everything, and someone as experienced as Patrick is a huge plus, and I'm very excited to work with him.
All right, for Parker and Scott, congratulations to you both on this exciting news, and we wish you guys best of luck today and the rest of the season and next season as well.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Who wants Spike Coors?